And I think we're good. Yep, it says we're recording.
All right, well, thank you everybody for attending this session, this training session on EdPuzzle. And Dawn and I are both avid users of EdPuzzle. And so we wanted to share with you why we like this platform so much. And Andrea, you had said that you're getting pretty good with Screencastify, and now that you might have a little bit of time, you know, you wanted to explore the EdPuzzle.
Yes.
As an English teacher. And so you said, Amy, that starting next week, your students will be joining your EdPuzzle class?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And so Dawn, do you want to share how you got started with that platform?
Sure. So I was a teacher for 15 years in history, and I experimented with a few different teaching concepts over the years. And one of the last ones I used was a flipped model, where I had students watching the sort of traditional lecture piece of the learning at home rather than in school. So it allowed time for in-school projects and that sort of thing to dive deeper into things. So basic content delivery outside of school in video form. And it sort of evolved over time into, well, I'll create some video notes for them. So I gave them some worksheet type things, some graphic organizers to fill in. So it would make it easier to record the basic information. And then that eventually evolved into, how do I know that all the students are following through on this, that they understand what they're doing, unless I, assess them, and then the assessment's down the road. So how can I tell right away? And EdPuzzle was the next piece of that puzzle for me. Sort of allowed me to know that students were actually watching the videos. It allowed me to put questions in, so I could sort of dipstick, across the board and get an idea of if they're paying attention or if they're totally zoned out, just waiting for the timer to run through and that sort of thing. So it was a powerful tool that I used both for inside of school and outside of school things.
All right, well, thank you. That was a good overview, Dawn, and I found myself exploring that platform for the same reasons that you did. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to share my screen. And I have a slideshow here, which is going to take us through some steps that you would want to do when you do get started with EdPuzzle. Are there any questions before we begin? No? Okay. So I'm going to share my screen now. And you can see the screen, yes? Okay. All right, so I'm Vicki, and I teach at the high school, and of course you know Dawn, who is now an administrator and formerly a history teacher. So what we're going to do is, this is just our little modest agenda here, and we've already given you some background in why we find EdPuzzle to be a real helpful tool. And I would like you, if you could, ladies, and also, ladies, to please go to menti.com. So you may need to kind of shrink down this screen and open up a new window, and I have a little entrance poll for you. Let me know when you're there.
I can't seem to make your screen smaller, Vicki.
Oh, your screen disappeared, guys.
So there's a green button and a yellow button, and the yellow button allows you to kind of shrink down your screen. It's up at the top left in the corner.
So you want us to just get to a browser so we can get to menti.com?
I would like you to, if you don't mind.
Oh, there we go.
Let me know if you're there, or Amy, if I can help you.
No, I finally got it to work.
Good.
This computer takes a little bit.
So when I go to a new tab, my Zoom disappears. It goes down to the bottom. Is that okay?
It's okay, Andrea.
It's still there.
And we
Okay.
just need the code.
Yes, and it's 38335.
Okay.
And I'd just like you to answer the first question, only the first question there.
Was it menti.com?
Yes, Menti, MENTI.com. And then when you go there, it's waiting for numbers, and the numbers are 38335.
Okay, I'm sorry, can you repeat the code again for me?
Yeah, sure. 38335.
Okay, good. So you want us to just go ahead and answer, yeah?
Yeah, the first question would be great. Yes.
Well, in my lessons.
And then Dawn, just keep an eye to make sure nobody else is joining. Okay, thank you for that. All set, girls? Did you answer that question?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so let's check out the results of that poll. And I will hit the present button on my Menti. So how often do you use videos? And you both agree once or twice a week. Great. So this will definitely, the EdPuzzle then will definitely be a good tool for you. So thank you for answering that entrance poll. And as far as using EdPuzzle, we want to give you the experience of using it as a learner. Even today, we're going to ask you to watch a 5-minute video, and we'll explain that when we get there. And we want to show you what EdPuzzle is like from a teacher dashboard. And these words, synchronous versus asynchronous, that's kind of an important thing to understand, that you can use EdPuzzle both live with your students or assign a video for them to watch in their own time that's convenient for them. And the special features of EdPuzzle we'll just hit on, and then we'll end with some questions that you have, okay? So I'm gonna move on to using EdPuzzle. So what I'd like to do is show you how to create an EdPuzzle class right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and create an EdPuzzle class. Once I navigate to the EdPuzzle platform, I'm gonna show you how to find and assign an EdPuzzle video for your students to watch. And then you're actually gonna complete a video and join our class if you don't mind. And don't worry, your joining an EdPuzzle class doesn't affect your ability to be a teacher on EdPuzzle. It's not like you have to be either a student or a teacher. I'm a student on some classes. So I'm gonna go ahead and navigate to EdPuzzle now. All right, so this is my fancy dashboard. I love anything that has a beautiful dashboard like this. All of my content is here in folders. And I gotta tell you, one thing I love about EdPuzzle is that you can put all of your videos in nice, organized folders. So right now I happen to be teaching a student who is learning 6th grade math, and all of his videos are in here. This fall, when I taught Algebra 2, my videos were there. I'm now teaching geometry, okay? So it's so nice and organized. But what I want to show you is up here where it says My Classes. That button, if you click on that button, when you join EdPuzzle as a teacher, you won't have anything in your classes to begin with. You might have a demo class, but you won't have anything else. But I have a lot of classes because I've been using this platform for a while. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add a new class. Can you see that button okay? Great. And you can add it using Google Classroom. I am not a Google Classroom user, but you guys might be. I'm just going to create it like this. And I'm going to call it Zoom EdPuzzle class. And this is so that you can join as learners.
And Andrea, I did set mine up, and it was very easy to link my Google classes to this. Like I just did it yesterday.
I think they're all getting very easy to link to Google Classroom. You know, Screencastify certainly was. So it's good to know. Thank you.
Nice job. Thank you for that encouragement. And I'm going to hit create class now. And now my class is there. And notice the title that I gave it, Zoom EdPuzzle class, is up at the top. I have, as far as students, absolutely no students there because you haven't joined it yet. But I'm going to invite you right now. So I'm going to hit the button invite students or invite students. It means the same thing. And what I would love for you to do is I'm going to take this link right here and I'm going to paste it into our chat area. So you can copy it from the chat area, plop it down into a new browser, and I would love to see you join this class. So let me just see if I can grab the chat without messing anything up. Oh boy, this is where it gets a little bit weird because I can hit buttons without meaning to. Here we go, chat. So that is, and I just, to me it looks like a live link, but to you, you might have to copy and paste it. Are you able to access that link? Dawn, is that showing up okay?
Yep, it showed up. We just have to copy and paste it.
Okay. And then while you do that, I'm going to refresh my page so that I can see you joining. And in class, you can do this with students so that everybody's there, but you can also do it as a homework assignment. So here I have hopefully some students momentarily. I'm worried about the load on the memory. This just may be hard to do right now where I'm just on a, I'm in the car on a signal here from a business.
Do we have a class code? I'm sure I screwed up somehow, some way. Is that
Did you need to add the class code? I thought
no.
I thought that link would take you there, but I'll give you, so Amy's in, and I'll give you the code. You can do it this way, Andrea.
Yep.
It's MOJAWPU.
Sorry about that. I knew I.
No worries at all. No apology needed. Did it say that you're in the Zoom EdPuzzle class yet?
It says this class is locked. To join, got it. I'm sorry, could I trouble you for the class code again?
Absolutely. MOJAWPU.
There I am. I thought you were going to spell mojitos for me. Then I was like, yeah, I like it.
No, they always have like just jumbled up letters that doesn't spell anything, but I love that you are thinking of that.
Yeah, it's almost that time.
Teacher that you are. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, if you can see the you can see my screen. I'm going to show you how I'm going to find a video to assign for you, okay? Because this is an important part of your teacher dashboard. So I don't have to be in my classes anymore. I'm going to go to content. And I have already found a video. I have created it, which we'll show you how to do afterwards. And I have it here saved in my content area. Now the way, see the My Content button? The way this works, anything that you've recently done is showing up there, like it's available. So this is the thing that I created for you right here. So I'm gonna click on this. And this is just a real quick video about Middleborough, and I'm gonna assign it right now. So notice I clicked on it, and now the button that says assign. Let me move this over so that this isn't in the way. Assign. So then it's going to say, well, what class do you want to assign it to? So I want to assign it to the Zoom EdPuzzle class right down here. And always use this button that says prevent skipping so kids can't fast forward to the questions. And I always turn on closed captions when it's available. It's not always available. And I want to assign it to everybody in the class. But what's nice is if you have somebody who like wants extra enrichment or a little bit of extra review, you can assign manually to students. So like I could just pick, one or two kids, but I'm going to assign to all. So I'm going to go ahead and hit assign. Oh, and this start date, like let's say you wanted to get this ready for next week. You could pick another date in advance, and you could put a due date there as well. I typically leave these alone. I just assign it like live. So I'm going to go ahead and hit assign. So now that I've done that, the 3 students that are in my class now can begin watching this. And so if you refresh your page, you should see that this is a video that you can begin watching. Do you see it there, ladies? Yeah, and gent? Okay. And so when, what I'm going to do right now is, and I'm going to go back to this, I'm going to set a 5-minute timer. And I would love for you to just put your video, your computer, your Zoom on mute. But I would love for you to just take the 3 minutes is really all it will take to watch this video and answer some questions. And then we'll come back, and you don't have to have a perfect score. Just for fun, you could answer things wrong just to see what that looks like on our teacher dashboard. But I'm going to begin right now, okay? And at 3 minutes, we'll actually see if you're done. Okay, questions? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit start. Go ahead and watch that video. And I'm going to stay here in case you have any questions.
So Vicki, now that I am recording, it won't let me minimize the screen for Zoom, so I can't get to the assignment. I'm not sure what the...
Okay, so what I'm going to do then, Andrea, while Dawn and while Amy are taking this video, maybe I can actually show you a couple of things that could be nice for you to know where this is your first time kind of looking at that dashboard. So we'll let Amy and we'll let Dawn keep going on that. But I'm going to show you something that can you tell me what you're teaching in English right now?
Right now, we are reading a book, Touch and Spirit Bear, and kids are just taking simple comprehension quizzes. We just added in some smaller open responses, and we do some vocabulary with them, and we try to incorporate some informational in the form of anticipation guides or whatever we think of. So I'm thinking like an EdPuzzle could work well for those informational.
Yep. So what I'm going to do is show you on EdPuzzle, see the content. I'm on the content tab, and over here it says curriculum.
Oh, okay.
And what's nice is they've got it organized. You can use this curriculum button. It's by middle school. So I'm going to view that content. And then there's some math lessons. There's some ELA. These are ready to go if you want to do that. Mm-hmm. So which of these categories seems to be something that we could look at, like that could appeal to you?
Let's try some of the writing. Let's see what's in there for EdPuzzle.
Cool. So writing, we have narrative and creative writing.
Sure.
Does that look like a good one? All right. And then you have some poetry. These are, what is slam poetry? Do you know what that is? Or?
Yeah, it's typically you just get up randomly and you read a poem of your choice to your audience. And it's almost like where you go and read poetry in public places. You just get up, open mic, and you just read your poem.
All right.
Let's go into the ant and the oh, it's Art of Metaphor. I don't have my glasses on. I thought it said the ant.
Art of Metaphor. Yeah, that's good. So this one here is a 5-minute video. And what I'm noticing is there are no questions that are built in.
Okay.
So you would have to build in your questions. So you can listen and see, but I kind of wanted to show you one that has built in. Oh.
Okay, yeah.
Although here, look, it says the same video, there's 218 other versions of this exact video where people have added questions. So I'll look at this one here that has 9 questions built in. And every time you see these bubbles, and so Dawn and Amy, you're all set? Both of you are done with that? Okay, it looked like they might be done, but I'm not sure. But these are questions that are built in. So what I like to do, Andrea, is I like to play it a little bit to hear the quality of the sound.
Mhm.
I don't want anything that's tinny or crummy or, anything like that.
Right.
This sounds really good at the start here. Oh, so it looks like is this a TED Talk thing? Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So this is going to be a good quality.
When we talk, sometimes we say things directly. I'm going to the store. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Other times, though, we talk in a way that conjures up a small scene. It's raining cats and dogs out, we say, or I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. Metaphors are a way to talk about one thing by describing something else. That may seem roundabout, but it's not. Seeing and hearing and tasting are how we know anything first. The philosopher William James described the world of newborn infants as a buzzing and blooming confusion. Abstract ideas are pale things compared to those first bees and blossoms. Metaphors.
Oh, wow. I really like this. Kind of makes me want to be an English teacher in a way. I really do
Pretty
like it.
fun.
Yeah. So it says, what are metaphors? And then so I love to have summary questions that if the student was really listening, or if there's something on the screen for them to check, that they'll be rewarded for having listened. And so I'm thinking it's probably, oh, there's my, oh, that's so funny. Okay, so
Oh.
that's my timer on that.
You're so fancy.
So I think, what is it? Fun ways to talk about one thing by describing another. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
So then what you do is you hit submit and you make sure that it's green. So what you want to do is you want to check, like right now, I fully trust this. This video is going to be
Metaphors think
good
with the
quality,
imagination
but
and
what
the
I don't
senses.
need to
The hot
do
chili
is listen to the whole thing, but I would look at every single question, and
Yeah.
I would make sure that I like these questions, because who knows, who was it that wrote these questions? There could be a mistake in there somewhere, so you just want to vet the questions. It's raining cats and dogs as an example of a metaphor, I believe.
Yeah.
And so then you
Right
just
or wrong.
keep going,
A metaphor.
and
If-
you go through, and this is an open-ended question. Now, I will right here say, for the purposes of distance learning, I don't recommend open-ended questions, because these kids are going to complete this video at their own time. You're not there to help with misconceptions, and they want instant feedback. So at this point, I would probably say, I like this video, but what I want to do, now that I see that there's an open-ended question, I'm going to skip
If you
this.
say there's an elephant in the room.
And I'm going to edit this. Now watch. See, you can have this edit button right here.
Mhm.
Now this video becomes your own. And that first question was great. The second question was great. But this third question is the
If
one
you
that
say-
either I want to completely get rid of, or I want to turn it into a multiple choice question. And it says, I'm not going to take the time to read it, but this pencil is how you can turn it into a multiple choice. See, and it's quite intuitive.
Yep.
It's really quite intuitive. Oh, another thing is you could have made it a note. I could have given them some information about a paradox, and just to drive a point home. And
Wow, it knows what you need before you even know you need it. That's very cool. Okay.
yeah, and so I'm just going to give them a little note and leave it alone, so that the kids who are watching this is going to say, oh, Mrs. Borges wanted me to read something, because they know when a note comes up, it's something you want them to see. Then you keep going, et cetera, et cetera.
So once you edit it, now becomes yours, and then you can tweak it any way you feel fit, and then you must be able to save it into your docs, for lack of a better word. Is that how that works? Okay.
Yeah. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Don to actually steer the ship that I'm driving, but he's going to direct me and tell us how to cut this video if we wanted to cut it down, how to save it, how to add it to a collection, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so you can, like you were saying, Andrea, you have options to personalize the video, basically. So it's changed a little bit since the last time I used it, we found, when we did our dry run the other day, Vicky and I. And so previously, you could snip video from the beginning and the end. So you could, sort of, if it was going too long or if you wanted to cut part out from the beginning, you could do that. And now it has sort of like a commercial break option, basically, like where you can cut out a section of the video so it will, lose that portion of the video. So there, especially with social studies videos, it's very easy to end up with a video that goes down a rabbit trail that you are not covering in your class. It's not part of your
Always include the
or
words.
that sort of thing, and you can just cut that piece right out and skip to the next part. So if you just see that little bar down there, the drag bar, she can pull it from the left, she can pull it from the right, and then I believe there's a tool that you should be able to see somewhere on there that allows you to add cut. Yeah. So where you could cut somewhere from the middle, and that allows you to, work the video down for your own purposes. So you might only want one small section of a video. It allows a lot of personalization of someone else's content, which is nice. Someone else has put a lot of effort into it, but at night, now you can make it match what you need, which is fantastic.
And so there's no copyright problems when you take like a TED Talk video and snip it and change it?
Nope. So nope, that shouldn't be because you're still giving credit to the original source of that. Yep, you're not you are not taking credit for having made the original source.
Or altering it, I guess, would be my concern.
Nope, you should be able to. I'm sure all that covered under the Creative Commons.
Just don't snip out the TED Talk or the source. That would be.
I wouldn't go
might do accidentally. So, okay.
I wouldn't specifically go and try to pull out like someone else's credit and put your own in.
I wouldn't do that, but I might snip it out accidentally. Like, woo.
I don't. YouTube's not really, as far as I'm aware, is not policing the source materials. I'm not looking for at EdPuzzle in that way. I've never come across any issues with that.
Okay.
So I have made videos for my Algebra 1 classes, which later on when I taught Algebra 2, some of the same topic carries over. So I cut out the beginning of my video that says Algebra 1 because I didn't want the Algebra 2 students to feel slighted.
Gotcha.
But I hear what you're saying, Andrea, and
so I did a similar thing with my own videos. Oops, sorry.
No, it's good, Don.
I had to hang there. There was an issue where I created my video. Oh, am I lost here? Sorry, I've got a low internet connection.
You're good.
Okay, so I did a similar thing where I made my own videos covering the topic, walking students through it, and then a year or two later, I decided I was going to renumber my standard, how I presented the information, how I organized it for the students. And so I was able to just cut the piece of the beginning where I, told them this is whatever it was, standard 7.2, and change it to the organization system that I was using that year. So that's a nice piece.
Okay, good to know.
It's really nice. Now, I have not finished this yet, Andrea. So, and Amy, over here on the top right, when you're done with the video, you're going to hit finish. So I'm going to push that finish button right now.
And then Vicki, I do have a question about the video that I just did.
Uh-oh, is Vicky dropped? Are you still there, Vicky?
I think Vicki might have frozen.
Uh-oh. What's your question, Amy?
My question was Dawn, did you actually watch the video, do the video?
I watched most of it. I was going to use that at the next step when she went to the Gradebook, basically, the Gradebook feature, to show you that you probably finished it and I didn't finish it, and you could see that. Oh, here she comes, jumps back in.
Well, my question was, did you notice that the questions came before the information?
That happens. So it depends on the video and the person that put it together. I found that happened occasionally when I use someone else's videos, it just, yeah, it sometimes it's when someone creates their own content and they're not precise with it that you end up with that issue. So I sometimes would, I would basically watch the video, you know, as the student, and then I would edit it and just slide that question a little bit further along so that it wasn't,
Okay.
you know, you didn't have that issue, because that happened. Yeah, it definitely happened for some of the videos I assigned to students that had come up and tell me, I didn't get the answer to that because the answer came right after. And so I learned
Right.
to preview and,
So these buttons here is how you can push the questions ahead, you know, to adjust those, these little buttons down at the bottom. Sorry, I dropped out and then I came back in, and that's what happened to the internet. But over here is where we're going to hit the assign button. So that's when, oh, and hold on, before I even do that, let me go back to content for a second. And you're going to see that video that we just did, Art of Metaphor, is right here now in my content area, right? So if I want to go to my content, it's right there. It's what you create is always at the beginning. Now, let's say you want to put this in a folder. So I want to create a folder now. So I'm going to do, I clicked on it, and I'm going to move to a folder. But hey, ELA is one folder I don't have yet. So I'm going to add an ELA folder. Cool. And so now it's in my ELA folder, which is right here. So if I show my ELA folder, which is the one at the top, oh, I haven't moved it yet. I have to move it right now. Sorry. I'm going to go like this, move to folder, ELA, move. I didn't press the move button. So that's nice. And now that's going to be all fully organized for me, right? All right. Now, I think that shows you how to create a video. One other thing I wanted to show you guys and girls. Andrea, you said that Gina uses EdPuzzle quite a lot. So what's nice is you're going to have a Nichols Middle School icon over here. I happen to have Middleborough High School. And there's a teacher in my school, Ashley Tassino, who is quite prolific with EdPuzzle. So if I look, like, here's something she must have just recently done. And you can kind of share things from teachers that way. So that's also pretty nice. Okay, I'm gonna just show you what my gradebook looks like for that video that you just watched. Here we have, Amy has completed that video. Don began the video so that you can see what that looks like. It shows me that he did watch 2 minutes of it. And the video itself is here. I clicked on the video, and what I have a lot of times is students who, they begin watching something, but they realize they had a misconception, and very often they don't even finish. And they send me a message and they say, Miss Miles, can you please reset me on this video? And so over here is a nice button that says reset progress, and that allows that student to start again. I also get to look to see, you know, what are the common places that students may have gotten confused. And to do that, I can look directly at this student's work, or I like it this way, go to questions. And it'll show you every question that you asked and how the students did on those questions. And so if you have 20 kids in a class, it might say only 3 out of 20 got that right. And that's something you definitely want to focus on with your students in terms of reteaching or misconceptions, clearing it up.
Vicki, can you do any partial credit?
No. And so that's a really great, it's a really important thing, because for those multiple select, you know, like this one says, I always say, select 3 true pieces. And I usually bold that, because if a student got 2 of the 3, I can't give them partial credit. Yeah, so you can't do partial credit. What you can do is you can give feedback on individual questions. And I created a video that's linked to the district page that shows you how to add feedback for questions if you're interested in that. So in other words, if a student is home and they answer a question and they got it wrong, this little text box comes up that explains why the one that they picked is incorrect. I don't think I have to show you any more on that, Dawn, unless there's something that I forgot to mention about the teacher dashboard.
No, I think you've covered all the basics there.
Thank you.
You can also see if a student has turned it in late if you put a due date on it. So that's another data point for you that provides that.
Yeah, go ahead, Andrea.
No, I just had a quick kind of bigger question. When you talked about if kids have to highlight 3 answers in order for it to be considered correct, in the real world, like SATs and all of that, is that how kids are graded on those types of questions where they have to get all 3 for them to get full credit, so no partial credit is awarded in standardized testing environments?
That's an excellent question, and you're absolutely right. On MCAS, when you have the multiple select, it's an all or nothing.
Really? Okay.
Yep, so it is actually good practice for them
Sure.
to do it.
Well, that's where I was going, because then I'm like, I don't do that part enough in my assessments. So that's just
so what we do,
because I didn't know how they did that with MCAS, if they got partial credit or no credit on those.
Yep, so I'm on the MCAS Assessment Development Committee for math, and what we do is we always, if it's a multiple select, we will always say, or almost always, select 3 correct answers. Like, we will tell them how many, but for an honors class, very often I'll take that out and I'll say select as many as apply, you know, just to add a little bit of rigor to that.
Challenge to it, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And just another quick question about the application of this. So you could, in my mind, you could use these videos and questions as formative assessments, pre-assessments, and anything along the way.
Absolutely, yes. In fact, the grading, I have a system of grading now, Dawn. I don't know how you did it, but when the students are done, they will either score in the green, in the yellow, or in the red. And I make these worth 3 points. And if they score in the green, which is 80% or higher, they get 3 out of 3 points. If they score in the yellow, which is 50% to 79, they get 2 out of 3. And if they score in the red, they get 1 out of 3, with the opportunity to be reset as many times as they want. But sometimes it's just performative data too. So yeah, you don't need to grade them, but the students get a score, which is nice.
Right, and so you could probably use this to formulate small groups to get target instruction. Do you know anybody that uses EdPuzzle?
Yes.
I think probably Gina does. She does everything.
Oh, no, definitely. So like, let's say you had like, you taught a whole class thing, but then they did stations. One station could be students watching an EdPuzzle video together. What I love to do is I love to, in class, project my screen, and I play it on with my speakers, and I have all the kids turn their dials down, and then we watch it together. And then we talk about the different options. I don't necessarily give them what the correct answer is, but I have them work and discuss it with a peer, and then go ahead and push submit. So that's another way you can do it in a synchronous format.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry.
No, these are great questions, because that was actually some things we wanted to talk about.
Right. Okay.
So here's what I mean by the red, the yellow, and the green. I have this time, thankfully, blocked out names. I'm sorry about that before, but in any event, we've got I can tell which ones overall students did well on. These 2 on the right, I just never even assigned, so I should actually delete those from my gradebook. I never even assigned them. And it's really great because you have a sense of what the kids know. If you like want to preview a topic in advance, what they know before you actually go and teach it. And I think that you can embed the videos into Edulastic. When I assigned that, ladies, when I pushed assign, there was this share button that was there. That's where you get your link, Amy, that you can plop it into Google Classroom, or you have to assign it in order to have that link.
Yes.
If you are using it via Google Classroom, it gives you, one of the options is to put it directly into the sections of your Google Classroom. That's an option.
Yep. And so for math teachers, it's got a real sleek, a real nice and user-friendly equation editor, Amy. So we can add some super nice formulas and even, you know, square roots and integral signs. I mean, whatever you need is there.
I love that you said super nice formulas. Can tell that you love math. Here's the daylights on me, but
I actually love any free platform like EdPuzzle that has a free equation editor.
Yes.
And so I go like, I get kind of animated when a thing like EdPuzzle or like Quizzes adds an equation editor for the users, because it's like, woo, now I can totally go to town with this. So those are the special features.
Otherwise, you have to like take pictures of it and snip it, and it makes a lot more steps.
Exactly, Amy, exactly. So Dawn and I, we would like you to just answer this last question on the Menti, if you don't mind, ladies. We also want to give you and anybody who's listening our email so that we can be a support as you go to, you know, launch EdPuzzle. Of course, taking a risk like this, like we're doing with a new platform, is it's never easy, but hopefully you'd find that it would be worth it. And then let me know, ladies, once you have that Menti back up. And Andrea, if you need that code, I can give it back to you.
nope, I wrote it down. I'm back on
Menti.com.
Menti. It says, please wait for presenter to show the next slide. Does that sound right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, hey, thanks. I didn't realize that when I put it on present, that it gets locked in a certain place.
Oh.
So, hey, I'll present the next slide now. Thank you for that.
No, you're welcome.
Always learning. All right, so here's the next one then. Let's see. Does it go there? Oh, it's an arrow. I see it now. Aha.
Okay.
How can you leverage EdPuzzle in your teaching?
Oh.
Still on?
Yes. This is our little exit question. We have a response.
Right. Almost done.
I like the first response that's there. Get the most out of a video, and instead of just sitting there and watching the video, and I used to think like, oh, why aren't they just absorbing all this information? Because kids need to stop and think and process.
Right.
And this is another response. It seems that this could be used for pre and post assessments, forming small groups, targeting instruction, etc. Yeah, and it's been a real helpful tool for me in the distance learning realm too that we're in right now. Oh, I will tell you one thing, just as a final plug. I use choice boards, and every week, EdPuzzle and Quizzes, those two, are the most popular choices that students are making.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really like the EdPuzzle because it's like somebody's teaching them something, but yet they're making sure through these questions that they understand. It's good.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to check it out.
Hey, cool. All right. Well, listen, it was great connecting.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking.
Thanks so much.
Our pleasure. Thank you, Dawn, for hosting.
No
And,
problem.
and I'm going to let Dawn end the meeting. And I'm gonna say my goodbyes. And then when Dawn ends the meeting, that's when your video will download, Andrea.
Yeah.
And we'll look forward to receiving that. Hopefully it'll work. If
Would you
not,
like me to
don't worry.
email it to you? What am I doing with my
Sure,
thing?
you try to like share it via the drive with me, like you upload it to your Google Drive and then you share it that way, because it's going to be too big to email.
Okay, so I will give myself a task to try this evening.
Yeah, and
Be
then I
patient with me.
can come alongside if there's difficulties.
Okay.
All right,
Safe
awesome.
travels, Vicki.
Hey, thanks so much. See you guys later.
Drive safe.
Okay. Have a great day.